Alright, so I've already started work on the skirt. I've also made a temporary rig to help me stand up the legs because, like I said before, I want to get the rest of Minmay put together to an extent to where I can see how everything's going to go together before I actually finalize how to the placement of the legs and whatnot, because I have to worry about weight distribution because of the way the legs are designed. She can easily fall backwards due to the amount of weight that the hair is going to make, and or she can fall basically forward right because the legs are not planted evenly. So there's a massive weight distribution problem that I got somehow figure out. But for the rig I'm using, it's actually really freaking simple. Just popsicle sticks hot glued to each other with some extra reinforcements, and it's generally keeping the legs at what I believe is at the right angle. Of course, that's another reason why I haven't gone and actually finalized anything, is because I don't know if I actually had the angles for the legs proper, because I'm actually looking at the legs themselves in the actual model, and I'm trying to eyeball it. And I believe that is about where this is about what it should look like. And it does kind of look exactly like it should. But again, I'm going to wait till I get a little bit more Minmay put together before I actually finalize the legs and whatnot. And of course, I still got to figure out how exactly I'm going to attach the feet to the actual legs, because again, these things are going to be supporting a lot of weight, so I got to make sure that these are capable of supporting the weight that they're going to be supporting without them collapsing. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to do it. I just got to make sure that the structures that I built for these things can actually do it and whatnot. So like I said, I'm also working on the skirt, which you can see right here. Luckily, the guy that made that did the posing also added in a few formers for me to help me keep the proper sizes, proper dimensions, and whatnot. Which, as you can tell, I got a former right here that I actually cut open. I'm actually going to be doing the same thing to the skirt once I get the skirt somewhat made and get the skirt form figured out. Because what I'm actually going to do is, give me a second, is that to attach the upper portions of Minmay together, I'm actually going to have a wooden dowel, basically like right around here or so, in the middle, like somewhere right around there. That way, so when I actually go to attach certain parts to her, like the torso, hip, the torso, chest area, head and whatnot, I can just literally just slide them onto the pole right here. Or I could actually have the pole inside the components or the parts. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to figure everything out. But one of the other things I'm going to be doing is that I'm also going to be when I actually have the area here figured out for like the pole and whatnot, I'm actually going to have a heap ton of reinforcement right in here. That'll be connecting the legs to the center here. Then I'll be having these connect to the outer walls here. There's a heap ton of reinforcement I gotta do. Luckily, it seems like I actually don't have to do too much reinforcement for the legs right here, because generally speaking, they can more or less hold their own with the popsicle sticks I have in there. But I am going to do some reinforcements right around the rim right here, because it's not exactly nice and sturdy around here, because if I do this, you can see it flexing really hard, and over time it can get damaged. Looks like I also need to do something about right there too, which you really can't see. There you go. That'll have to be fixed. There's a lot of reinforcements I gotta do. And also, one major reinforcement that I gotta do is, again, remember this thing's gonna be having a lot of weight. So I also gotta make sure that this whole section right here is nice and sturdied up, because if I just place a little bit of force, you can see it's flexing right here. I can't have it do that. So I gotta make sure that all this area here is nice and sturdy. Again, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm not going to go into explaining how I do it. I'm just going to end up showing the actual finished product when it comes to reinforcements and whatnot. But I think again, since you already seen generally how I did everything here, you can get a general idea how I'm actually going to reinforce all this other stuff. So I'm going to finish off, so I'm going to most likely come back when I finish off the skirt. Alright, skirt is now done. I have yet to cement it onto the actual legs. Of course, that's because I still want to build everything else, but for right now, I'm just letting it I'm just making it so it can just sit on there with ease and whatnot. So that's pretty much the skirt. Next portion I'm going to be building is more or less this area right here. So I'm going to get this done tonight, no matter what. But for right now, I'm going to go and take a small break and play Utah Cross because there's a current event going on right now, and I just want to gather more orbs. That way, so when Minmei's new costume comes out, I'll be able to actually hopefully get it. So I'm getting ready to print out the actual top portion or the bottom portion of her shirt. And this little area right here is basically this whole section here. And as you can tell, the parts that are needed to build it are all over the place when it comes to proportions and whatnot. A lot of the other parts I've been building up to now, generally the shapes and whatnot are fairly consistent. So figuring out where exactly each piece goes as I go along is relatively simple. This portion here, as you can tell, there's so many odd shapes. It's going to take a little bit of work to, it's going to take a little bit more longer for me to get this whole portion here built. And of course, I also have to worry about these very thin little pieces of paper here that I gotta somehow keep from basically breaking as I fold them. The main portion where I'm going to have the hardest problem is this little area right here. Luckily though, I know what I need to do to more or less reinforce this whole little area so it doesn't basically break as I use it. All I'm going to be doing is just on the back side, I'll just be putting some clear tape on the back side of this to more or less reinforce this whole little section. Basically that's what I'm going to be doing for this whole area right here, just using clear tape on the back to reinforce all these parts. I've actually been doing that since ME3 Jack I built like what 4 years ago now or so. Even though it feels like it's been longer since I've had her, but yeah. So I'm going to parse out these parts onto the sheets of paper, hit print, and hopefully get this done within a few hours. I know I don't have to add this in, but I actually got done parsing out all the parts. I printed out all said parts, and I got to about here, and I kind of have to end it for tonight because I'm getting sleepy. I thought I could muddle through and get the chest piece put together, but I'm too sleepy and I want to go to bed. I got too busy playing Utah Macross and playing what is essentially a Macross virtual novel ripoff. And the first thing I saw when I saw this on my Facebook thread is they're trying to be Macross. But yeah, I played for about like 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours or so, so it kind of ate up a little bit of my time, so that's why I'm kind of sleepy. So when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to at the very least get this thing put together. Hopefully I'll be able to actually do a little bit more than just doing this top portion, because this one's going by a little slower than I was hoping for. But it is coming along slowly at least. Of course, I have learned to actually pace myself instead of actually trying to really push myself like I used to. Mainly so I don't burn myself out. So yeah, I'm off to bed. Alright, so this is how far I've gone with building the top section right here, or technically the bottom section of the of her shirt. Basically, I'm leaving it open like that for now. I'm not actually going to physically connect any of the parts to each other until I find to where I think I'm actually at a point to where I can do that. And apparently my two angelfish there are in starting phases of spawning, so I'll have some content for my fish related fish channel in a few days, hopefully. Just I'll let, I don't know. I'm a person that takes care of fish. So let's see. I got a little bit more here to put together. Then I got a little bit more extra, which is more or less, yeah, more or less this. So I'm actually fairly close to being done with the top portion of Minmei's shirt. So I'm gonna take a small break, play some more Use 'em Across and whatnot. And for those that are wanting to know what the current event is running right now, as I'm building this model, this is the one that's currently running. And yeah, I'm not going to be going for the new costume because I'm again wanting to save up for a Minmei's costume, which I think is going to be his whole separate event. Now today, another Windows 10 problem. I'm having to reinstall Windows 10 again on my laptop here because Windows 10 decided to make it so it cannot detect the dedicated GPU, which is a 940MX. So yeah, Windows 10 sucks ass. So with that said, this is how far I've gotten with Minmay now. I pretty much got the whole bottom section here pretty much put together. Now I haven't gone in and fully reinforced it yet because I want to get the other top portion attached and whatnot, not attached but built and whatnot to see how it fits in before I actually go in there and reinforce everything. Luckily with the way this model is designed, I can more or less just forego the reinforcements until like the very end, or to where I think I can actually go in there without messing up the way the model goes together and whatnot. So yeah, fish are still doing their things. Probably gonna be like 2 or 3 days before they start spawning again. My poor flower horn's going like, what the hell is going on? And Windows 10 is being hot garbage. So also right now, what I'm going to do is, well, not right now because I gotta let this thing sit for a bit, is that I'm going to take about like a 15 to 30 minute break just to stargaze. Now I can already see a few, well, technically planets. That's Mars. Saturn's supposed to be somewhere over here, but it's too light. I mean, it's not bright enough to pick up for the camera. And right there is Jupiter. So I'm going to let this sit out for 30 minutes or so to acclimate to the natural temperature of the air and whatnot. That way it's going to get the best viewing experience I can. I got my guard cats. Well, one of my guard cats. And since it's going to take about 30 minutes or so for the scope to climatize to the temperature outside, I'm going to take those 30 minutes or so to parse out all these parts onto their respective sheets of paper. And of course, I'll be more or less parsing them out like I have for the previous few parts. So let me go and move this to a better position so when I actually go to work with it, I can put everything more or less back in the proper place. So I'll just parse it here. So yeah, that's pretty much all I just built right there. And the next portion I'm going to be building is this. Actually, what I'm going to be doing, how I'm actually going to build this, is I'm actually going to build I'm going to ignore the arms on both sides. I'm going to go up to the neck, because the face alone is going to take at least 3 days to put together because of all the intricate folds I gotta do and whatnot. It's hard to explain, but when the face models are this intricate, it's going to take at least a day. It's going to take at least 2 to 3 days to put together. And of course, I'm excluding the arms and the hands. And the one part that's really going to take the longest is most likely going to be the hair, because of all the... Well, actually, I don't know how long the hair will actually take to build, but I can already tell it's going to take at least 2 days to put the hair together. It's mainly all the cutting, folding, waiting for hot glue to dry that makes these builds take so long. But with this right here, well, with her face, it's going to be the just the intricacy of her face, because of all the little itty bitty folds I gotta do, especially around the lips, and if I can get the camera to operate properly, the eyes. The lips and the eye sockets are going to be the most hardest parts of this build. It's the same thing for my life-size Mass Effect 3 Jack, Kirimi, Yandere-chan, and I believe a few others that I don't have around with me anymore, but yeah. So, well, at least my little laptop here decided to do something again, so I'm going to get this back in working order, and then yeah. Alright, so I'm sitting here parceling out all the pieces onto their respective sheets of paper, and you hear that annoying bug in the background? It's gonna die. This is one of the things that sucks about having an AC unit like this, is that I can hear those annoying ass bugs. But when I'm working in the daytime, I turn this thing on and keep my room nice and cool. So excuse me while I go kill an annoying ass bug. Alright, I'm going to be putting this video portion to an end. I got this all done and whatnot, like I showed off in the other portion. Everything's more or less set up in a way I need it to be set up. I'm currently in the printing process of the next portion I'm going to be building, which is actually just this section right here. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to build this section, then most likely going to spend a few days putting the face together and whatnot, and then I'm going to do the arms, hands, and then the last piece will be the hair. And then the actual final piece will be me actually attaching the feet to the legs. Also, if you're wondering about my little laptop here, yeah, it kind of bricked itself to an extent. The GPU, the dedicated GPU, which is my GeForce 940MX, doesn't want to work on my laptop anymore. So this thing's pretty much bricked to an extent. I can't game on it like I used to anymore. Especially considering this thing costs $800. So fuck you, Windows 10. I hate you with a passion.